All right. So a large percentage of our podcast listeners have provided some feedback. And by a large percentage, I mean one person.
That's large.
And
50%.
This person, and you need to correct me if this is wrong, and I have no examples to back it up. I'm going to preface this by saying, when you ask me for examples, I have none. The comment, and this is particularly of interest to Jess, if you're there, and that is that apparently Ethan and I will ask you questions during the podcast, and you will answer them.
Okay.
And you will give in-depth, thoughtful answers, and then you will ask a question back to us, and we don't answer you. Is that true?
Really?
Is that true? Have you noticed it?
No.
I know for sure that I have done that because I do it on purpose. So I know, and
Really?
I also watch them back, so I get to see. So I have noticed that I do it sometimes. Most of the time, I know when I'm doing it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, why?
What's
your reason behind that? And don't not answer this.
The only thing I would not answer is if it ventured into a particular topic that I'm not comfortable talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And I won't talk about which topic or topics that is.
Pegging and dogging, clearly.
Well, that, of course, yes. Anyway, but Jess, you haven't noticed that?
Well, I have not. But
Well, apparently this person is already into started at the beginning and is up, I don't know how many episodes we've done, 30 or something, 30, 40?
33.
Okay, and this person is pretty much caught up, maybe has a couple that the person has not listened to.
Yeah, so there are a couple. I remember the one where we talked about the pet peeves. I didn't do that one. I wouldn't answer that one. There was another one I felt like I can't remember exactly what it was, but it must have been 5 episodes ago. I have to go back and listen and see exactly what the question was. But I did feel like I didn't give a really in-depth answer, but nobody pressed me for one either, so.
Okay.
So did this person
But you're intentionally doing it. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, no, my question is, did this person get annoyed by me? Because sometimes I feel like I overspeak and overtalk you guys, and I'm sharing too much, and you guys don't share enough.
This person is not annoyed.
Okay.
This person was more just and this person can say this, Steve, you're being a dick. You need to answer those questions. And I'm oh, I don't, give me an example. Let me think of, and
Did they give an example?
No. As I said, I preface this, no examples, but maybe I can extract those examples later. So.
Well, that person
Anyway,
needs to go back and re-listen and tell us the episode and the minute that they have that example so we can listen.
That's interesting because
Yes.
I Jess, you mentioned how you feel like you overtalk and stuff. I feel like I do that while I'm watching them back.
Oh, really?
Yes.
I feel like I generally sit quietly and just offer a little commentary unless I'm really lit up and we hit upon something that's a hot button for me, and then I just go off.
Yeah. Yep. All right, so I have notes from the last few. So, all right, so I did want to circle back from, let's just use corporate speak here. I wanted to circle back to episode 33, which just went live recently. So you'll see how far behind we are. And that was, Jess and I at the end talked about empath. And so I was referencing a woman who had talked about anyone who identifies as an empath has had an unstable adult in their childhood. And Jess was saying that the term empath is being overused and bastardized. And she gave an example of what I do, I think people might like, I'm very analytical of the things that are around me and how people are behaving, and I use that information to modify my communication style. And so from that, I can also gather how people are feeling. Jess had then also mentioned that empath is more of like the term, I think generally or originally comes from more of a spiritual background, which Jess had said that it's people can take and help you process your emotions or process your emotions. And so I went back and I listened to that, and I kind of was like not agreeing. I remember at least while I was talking about it, I'm like, I don't know, but I do like 100% agree. I think this person did say empath. I've never, and like we've talked about before, I've never really thought of myself as an empath. And what I do is not, obviously I have empathy and I use information to generate that empathy, and I can put myself in that person's shoes and all that stuff, but I do not have the ability really, I don't think, to help people process stuff. I certainly don't do it from a spiritual perspective, and I feel like I'm really good at not also taking other people's emotions and feeling them myself. That I don't do.
Mm-hmm. And that's my definition of an empath, is I feel their emotions. I know, like, if I'm connected to somebody, when they are sad, I instantly start crying. They don't even cry. I'm the one who cries for them because I feel what they're feeling. Or when I see someone mad, like I take that on and I get pissed for them. Like, it's not a negative thing, but I definitely have learned to like create a bubble around myself to not feel other people's emotions. So that's my definition of an empath versus being ultra aware of energy around you.
Yeah, so I'm on board with that. And the other one was, it must have been, let's see, 36. So 37, maybe. You guys had,
thought we were on 33.
That's what's out right now.
Oh, so okay, so we are, all right, got it. We are behind. Okay.
Yeah, so 30.
Well, wait a minute.
There's a delay.
By we, I mean you doing all the work. You're behind while I just sit back and ride your coattails to podcasting fame and glory.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I think episode 37 or 38. I don't know if this one's going to be 38. You guys had talked about, you'd asked about me changing the communication between like a new person and a not new person, either in like a social group or something. And so at the beginning, I didn't initially agree with your statement the way that it was originally phrased, but you were both drunk, so I'll let it go. As we talked about it, as we talked more about it, I was coming around to the idea that you guys were talking about, which I think you're hitting on, and I just kind of want to clarify. Like, you guys were alluding to a skill where if you're trying to explain a new idea to someone that isn't on the same level of your understanding, you have to change the way that information is presented to that person. And so if you're presenting it to someone that's new to that, it's going to be a different message than someone that's not new to that concept.
Correct. And do you align with that theory or that
That's
method
100%.
now?
That's 100% what I do, like all the time. Yes. So yeah, I'm on board with that. It's the way that it was phrased initially was, well, the question that was asked was, would you tell a new person all the warts? And so the way, I think it was just a misinterpretation on my part. I took that to mean, like, let's say somebody comes in to a firestorm of problems at an organization. And what I took that to mean was I wouldn't use plain language to someone that's new to that environment, which I feel like I would. And explain to them the problems and the things to work out for or look out for.
So I think we have an issue though. You're the one who gets to go back to listen to everything and like analyze shit. Steve and I have it go in one ear and out the other. Like, we're here having fun, just shooting the shit, you know? That's what we do. And we have no clue to what we say. Like, I can't tell you what I said a week ago. I don't even know what day it is.
So, okay, so first of all, you can go back and listen to them.
Oh, I can.
You can. But
not
yes,
before they're aired.
I do, especially if there's heavy editing involved, I have to listen to the whole thing, which is not my preference. So yeah, sometimes I do listen to all of them, and sometimes I listen to certain parts multiple times, depending on what the editing is like. So, and I am analytical by nature anyway, so yes, that's exactly what happens.
Well, and I listen to ours only 14 to 20 minutes into it, because like I've said in the past, anything past 20 minutes, I get bored, like with myself. And I'm like, I don't want to hear my own voice anymore. So we need to cut it down 20 minutes.
Yeah, I don't go back and listen to it after it's published or anything like that. Like, it's not part of my podcasting. And there's only one podcast that I really listen to, and it's a specific type of, like, it's what this is kind of modeled after. It's friends just hanging out, shooting the shit, and that's the kind of stuff that I like, mostly because life is already stressful, so I don't want to listen to other stressful things. It's a way to decompress type deal for me. So yeah, but yeah, we've had the last couple we've been having a really good time. They're like hour and a half, hour long.
This is a bonus episode.
Sure. And then Steve, you had mentioned at the last one, that you wanted to ask questions about my background.
I did.
You did.
I wonder where I was going with that. I struggle when I've listened to, and I would think maybe I've listened to 1 or 2 of our episodes, and I get about 5-10 minutes in, and I'm like, A, I don't like listening to my own voice, and B, I'm listening to it and I'm going, I don't think we said anything interesting. I'm not going to listen to this. Maybe it's more interesting than I think, but I'm like, I'm sure I didn't say anything that was fascinating. I'm not going to listen to this again. I lived it, you know. I don't know. But getting back to your background question, what was I thinking? Was there context for it? Don't get me wrong, I am fascinated by your background. I'm just thinking there was something specific.
I don't.
Your background behind you there.
Yeah.
I'm like thinking you're talking about, well,
No.
I was born in a small rural community. Yes. Oh,
you pretty much told him that his background is not interesting. I don't know why I asked that.
It's not. It's not cool. It's not interesting.
It's
the background.
The backdrop of you sitting at your desk doing this podcast.
That's way more interesting than your background.
There's a Yeti, there's a neon cat whose eyes are blinking like he's got sunglasses on. Looks like there's a collection of like router equipment boxes or maybe video card boxes, and a wildlife print by Les Cuba or somebody like that. Talk to me, Goose. Take it away.
Yeah, so we've got the 2 right above my head behind me. There's 2 microphones. The Blue Yeti, that's the one that I use for this, which is this thing right here. And then the Snowball was like a backup one. I don't always have my like work computer in the same place. This is the basement, and this is also like this is where I play games. This was my office before the pandemic happened. So I wanted to have 2, but I didn't want to carry equipment around between the 2 areas. So that's why I didn't want to spend another $130 on a microphone. So I'm like, well, this one will be just good enough. It's on Zoom anyway. It's better than the webcam mic. So that's what those are. There are some hard drives below those that you can't see because my head's in the way. They're old hard drives, so they're small. They really just need to be smashed and then thrown away. We've got Elgato. Is that the key light box? Yeah, so that's the key light box, which I don't have on very often. So I got 2 lights. I have a preference for the odd shadow on my face and not having the light full on because it provides depth. Because like, and this is how ridiculous I am. I'm the only one thinking that in our meetings. Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll get this good lighting set up, interesting background light, interesting thing. Nobody else puts that work into their background at work. They're just like, behold my wall or my room. Deal with it.
Nope, I put that in the background. I want like moon phases in my background. I want feathers in my background. So you and I are very similar. Like, I think about my background and where things, like how the camera is positioned. So
Good.
you and I are
It's not
similar.
just me.
Nope.
So we've got a key light and then a ring light. The ring light is what I use most often because it's bigger, so it's a softer light, but can be brighter. That is a motherboard. That's for my newer gaming machine. This is a motherboard for the components before, so that's in another gaming machine for another person. 2 video cards, new video card 3060, old video card 2060, both being used. These are processor boxes. We've got RAM box, RAM. That's a laptop RAM right there. We've got a Lego space from a while ago. We've got a piano. This little thing right here is a piano that I gave my grandma, and then after she passed away, I got it back. And this is a picture of ducks that was in my grandfather's office. And he likes ducks because of the way that they behave as a group. If one of the ducks gets injured, they will not leave that duck, or they will go back for that duck. And that has always stuck with me. We've got a...
Who's the artist?
I don't know. I'd have to go look. Maybe Lisa. I can go look in a minute.
I don't know if it's Les Kuba or David
I don't think
Moss
it's.
or...
I don't think it's Les Kuba. I think their name starts with an L. Lee something. We've got an Xbox One, Xbox Series X controller, which is for my computer, not my. I don't have a new Xbox. And then CPU fan box for one of the new computers. And this is all that stuff's there because behind that is a giant ass mirror where the bar used to be. And so since this is a shared space with a craft room, I had to put something up so that people couldn't see people walking in and out of the space.
Ah.
And then
So it's
the
a
cat,
bar back there.
It was. It's not anymore. The bar is in a different part of the actual bar stand is being used as shelves on the wall now. And then this cat, this was a fun little LED thing we saw at Target for Halloween. And we got 2 of them, and I stole one. And it is, you would not believe.
You stole one from Target?
I didn't
What?
steal one. I got one. I got 2. But that cat, like, that could be the only thing back there, and that cat, like, that instantly breaks people down. Meaning, for whatever reason, everybody loves that cat, and they all comment on it when I meet people for the first time. Like, that's the one thing that everybody mentions it. It's like this really weird, easy, simple icebreaker that just pays dividend after dividend. I don't have to do anything.
Cool. So right now you're using that to full effect.
Yep. I'll look.
Did you just say right meow?
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Oh my god. Okay, time to do the mic drop and end.
All right, let me go look at that thing real quick.
So Steve, now that Ethan is gone, did you get my text message? Okay.
Hmm. I'll come up with some ideas and I'll send them to you.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
It is about to storm and my girls are playing outside. And actually one of my favorite things to do in the fall, or I'm sorry, in the spring, is the first like nice night out and it's raining is to dance in the cul-de-sac in the rain with my girls. So
Nice.
if it starts raining, I'm going to drop so that I can dance in the rain with my girls.
Well, I'm pretty sure that there's a thunderstorm or a tornado watch too.
Oh, okay. So I'm
So-
gonna go dance in the tornado watch with my girls.
You gonna
Okay.
take it? You gonna take us with you?
No, I don't want to take my computer out.
Oh, I thought you were on your
Fancy.
phone.
No. So actually, I think I am. It's raining right now. I want to go dance with my girls in the rain.
All right, we'll be
Okay.
here.
So
You coming back?
I don't know. I think this would be a
I mean,
really good time.
we did this just for you tonight on this fine Thursday, otherwise known as Wednesday.
So that part wasn't recorded. So what happened was, Jess messaged us and said, "I'm lit. Should I stay lit for the podcast?" And we were like, "Yeah, let's." Or do you want to do it now? We're like, "Let's do it now." And in my head, I thought, I think she thinks it's Thursday, and I think this is a great time to do the podcast if she thinks it's Thursday. I also have a little bit of a scheduling conflict for when we would normally do it.
Oh,
I'd have to adjust
perfect.
it by a half hour anyway. So I'm like, well, if we do it now, we don't have to do it on Thursday.
Tomorrow.
So then Steve and I got on, and then Jess showed up. So Jess thinks that it's Thursday.
And I literally was like, okay, let's do this. You broke down my walls. I am now mom and friend and podcaster and everything all at once. And they're like, you do realize today is Wednesday, right? I'm like, what? It is? No.
Yep.
So, yeah.
We have Hydra Jess. There was some big lightning right now, by the way.
Was
You
there
might need to
really?
go. You might need to go corral your young lasses and get them to safety.
Or I might be out there and watch the lightning with them.
You could do
I
that too.
love thunderstorms. So when I was 5 years old, I remember standing under a tin awning with my grandpa, watching the lightning, watching the tornadoes, watching the storm. Like that was my favorite thing to do with my grandpa. It was the best. So I might do that again.
Storms they're fun. They get more scary, I think, when you have more responsibility. I feel like they've also gotten a lot more violent in the
They
last decade or so. So it's a little bit like, at least growing up here, you know, it was very rare to get a tornado watch that would last past midnight. We very rarely got storms, and now it's like it seems like it's almost too hot during the day.
Yes.
And then at night is when we have tornado watches that last all night long. We have
Yep.
severe storms that are rolling through in the middle of the night now on a regular basis.
Or is it that we're just more acutely aware of them and we have better
You're right.
tracking equipment to say, hey, we could have a tornado? Whereas before it was like,
Who knows?
Do you know
let's
how
say
they,
yes. Let's say we might have one, but we're only going to say for the next couple hours. Whereas now they're looking at, reams of data going, yep, we could have one. And it could be for the next 4 hours and 37 minutes. Ship
well,
it.
prior to Doppler radar, do you know how they detected tornadoes? So we had
Rabbits?
Tornado
Yeah.
chasers.
we had a big outbreak here, and they had printouts basically of radar of the clouds and the formation of the clouds, and they basically had like an overhead projector, and the way that you could tell there was a tornado is there was a signature curl that looked like a 6 on those, and that's how you could tell that there was a tornado in the area. Now, like to your point, Steve, it's super advanced, and we can see very deep into these storm structures, and we can see rotation before a tornado starts, but we can see that the rotation is significant enough that it is about to produce or very likely to produce a tornado, and we can get a warning out. But that's
And there's just so much more cloud activity, right? I mean, everybody always says everything's in the cloud.
yeah.
That was a horrible dad joke.
I'm here all
Again,
week.
another mic drop. Okay, with that, goodbye. I'm gonna save my kids from tornadoes
All right.
and be out there with
We'll
them.
probably be on for a couple more minutes if you want to come
Keep
back.
on dancing.
Okay. Bye.
See ya. So David A, I don't know if you say Mass or Moss, MAASS.
That was the second name I suggested.
No, it wasn't.
You probably didn't hear me when I said, was it Les Cuba? And then I said, is it David Moss?
I thought the second name you said started with like an H or had an ace in it, an H in it.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
Huh. I'll go back and listen, I guess.
At least I think that's what I said.
Are you
That's
little-
who I was thinking of. Maybe I got the name wrong. I don't know, but that's who I was thinking of. No, I'm pretty
Well-
sure it was Boss, because as soon as I said it, it reminded me of this guy I went to college with, whose last name was Moss, and I'm like, am I thinking of him incorrectly? No, I had it.
Well, I mean, I figured you were probably pretty close anyway, because you said wildlife picture and you had two names. Like, there can't be that many wildlife painters, especially that are like, you know, in your age group. I mean, it was my grandfather's, so.
Nice. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Well,
If it
you know,
makes
you young bucks.
Yeah, if it makes you feel any better, you're not as old as my dad. But my dad's probably young.
Thanks.
My dad's probably younger than you think too.
I don't know. How old are you?
41.
Oh. So your dad's 65.
64. Yeah, he'll be 65 in September.
Does he like the Beatles?
Yeah, he likes a lot of classic rock.
Okay.
And when I say classic rock, it means the same thing you're thinking when you would say classic rock. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's not just rock to you, but yeah,
Sure.
growing
Because
up.
when I'm 64, I know I'll like the Beatles.
Right.
And that joke will only resonate with like 5% of our podcasting audience.
Yeah, not me.
Nope. There's a song by the
snap.
Beatles called When I'm 64, which is where that whole thing was going.
We actually do have a tornado warning.
We do.
You have one too?
I don't know if we have one right here, but I'm staring out my picture window looking at some kind of eerie
Yeah.
weather.
Yeah, like my phone, I just got a for the next half hour.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see it on this app over here yet, though. I don't hear the tornado sirens. There it goes. Nope, not quite. It's very close to us, though. It's coming our way, though. Oh yeah, and you can see if you look at the radar, you can see the hook on there. The hook echo is what they called it.
Yep. Then it's a 9.
Yikes! And it's headed our way. It's
And-
coming. Yeah, it's coming up our way.
Yeah, and it is almost upon us. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and it's
Cool.
been on the ground for a minute too. Holy cow! All right, well, I think we'll start getting everybody ready. It's a good time to end it, I guess.
I guess so. And with that, I'm gonna go out and chase the storm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go dance in the funnel cloud.
Hopefully it goes away
Nope.
before it shows up here.
I hope Jess gets inside.
Yeah, she's a little farther north. Yeah, that's a nasty looking one, actually.
Yep.
Hmm.
All right.
Well, exciting.